एक फौजी के रुतबे से बड़ा कोई और रुतबा नहीं होता। वर्दी की शान से बड़ी कोई और शान नहीं होती, और अपने देश से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं होता।
24th September, I got a message that hostage crisis has happened in Akshardham. I told Surjan, तेको दिख रहा है? तो he said कि हाँ sir दिख रहा है. I was about to jump over the wall, and he started firing on the terrorist, on the first terrorist. I just saw Surjan Singh falling down. That was the time the खून खोल रहा था, and that adrenaline was pumping in. अब तो इसको मारना ही है, किसी हालत में इसको
मारना ही है.
छोड़ना नहीं है. I tell you, still when I'm speaking right now, my legs are trembling. अंदर डर भी लग रहा था मेरे को. आखिर आदमी हूँ, इंसान हूँ.
Hello, I am Meenamma. I'm a storyteller and trainer, and I wish to share my chats with inspirational people around me on varied topics of global interest with the hope that my audience may design a better life from these episodes. Each talk of mine is an inward journey. Come travel with me today to meet an extraordinary human being. But do watch the episode till the end and subscribe to Meet Meenamma on YouTube, Instagram and other handles. I will be putting out short clips and exciting reels on this episode for you to get valuable insights in lesser time. I need your help to grow. Do hit the subscribe button right away. Thank you. Here we go. At a time when a war against terrorism has begun to be waged globally, and as Bharat stands up strongly for the cause, this session is important and I'm sure will grip your attention as much as it has mine. Welcome, viewers, to today's episode, where I have the honor of featuring Colonel Tushar Joshi, a distinguished officer of the Indian Army and a recipient of the Sena Medal, on whose life a full-length Bollywood film has been made. Colonel Joshi was commissioned into the Kumaon Regiment and has since showcased his exceptional leadership in diverse terrains and challenging environments. His remarkable journey took a pivotal turn when he joined the National Security Guards, the NSG, specifically in the Special Action Group. Notably, on September 24th, 2002, he led a heroic operation at the Akshardham Temple in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, where he confronted two terrorists who had taken 90 civilians as a hostage and tragically murdered 40 of them. In this intense encounter, then Major Joshi displayed extraordinary bravery, neutralizing the threat and rescuing the hostages, despite sustaining gunshot injuries to his neck. For his valor, he was awarded the Sena Medal by the President of India on the 15th of August 2003. Colonel Joshi's service extended to the Northeast, where he served as a company commander in Nagaland and Manipur, playing a crucial role in countering Naga militants. He later commanded the Kumaon Regiment Battalion in the high-altitude region of Kupwara, Jammu and Kashmir, where his leadership earned his battalion the Chief of Army Staff Commendation for their exemplary operations. Throughout his career, Colonel Joshi has held various staff and instructional positions, including significant roles at the Kumaon Regimental Center. He has specialized in counter-terrorism operations, honing his skills through advanced training with the US Marines. After an impressive 32-year tenure, Colonel Tushar Joshi retired on August 31st, 2022. He now serves as the Vice President of Training and Operations at Crystal Group in Mumbai, where he continues to contribute his extensive expertise. Join us as we delve into an inspiring experience, insights of Colonel Tushar Joshi, a true hero and a great Indian leader. Hello, Tushar. How is it to be with Meenamma today?
It's wonderful and fantastic to be here with you.
Colonel, I have been wanting to have you on this show because everybody is talking about Operation Sindoor and, the impending war and nuclear war and everything else. But very few people are actually seeing the main problem is terrorism. And you are the true hero who has shown us a window to understand terrorism better. But before I get to that, who is Tushar? Where was your childhood? Why did you join the Indian Army?
Tushar is just a boy next door, and how I see myself. And though I had a lot of aspirations and dreams to join the army, right from the childhood, with my circle around, with my friends around, and with Fauji around, I had always inspired. I was always inspired to become an army officer. And that is how I got into, after clearing my exams and competitive exams, I got through the army, and I was commissioned in 1993, and the dream came true on 11th of December 1993, and I joined as a second lieutenant in 21 Kumaon Battalion. So this is how, and as a child, if I say, I was quite an extrovert person, and of course, I had always been a team member. I had always been with my friends, and I should not boast, but I was liked by people, elders and kids and my peers and my friends and all these things. So might be I was loved by all. So this is how my childhood went on, and after I joining army, and that my journey started from there in olive greens.
Colonel, when I read your biodata, I got goosebumps because many of us join work and serve different facilities, but you got a chance to join the army, and that too in the NSG. And anybody would wonder, what is so big and great about NSG? But you have given pride to the NSG with what you did. Let me take you back to the 24th, 25th day of September 2002. I know there is a lot that has been spoken about this day, but for me, this is the day that changes my map in my mind about terrorism and about the Indian soldier. So, Sahas ki Vijay kaise hua? How did it happen? What happened that day? Explain to me, to young Tushar on 24th of September 2002.
Firstly, let me tell you, we in the army, we go on deputation to National Security Guards. The NSG is a part of Home Ministry. So I will just start off with that. So my commanding officer at that time, he considered me and found suitable for me for NSG. He found me suitable for NSG because I was physically very fit and mentally robust. So he thought that I will do good in NSG, and of course it happened that way, and he put a right person at the right place, and this is how, after my probation in NSG, I joined 51 Special Action Group of NSG, which is a counter-terrorist group. So after joining that, and then of course on 24th September, the action happened at Akshardham, for which had been instrumental in neutralizing the terrorists and freeing the hostages. And this incident was a turning point in my life.
Sir, an entire Bollywood movie, The State of Siege, Temple Attack, is based on your life and those moments with Akshay Khanna playing the lead. Actually, he played you. Tell us a little more details for those who are interested in watching Swaminarayan Temple at Akshardham Gandhinagar. That was the area of action. How did Colonel Tushar land there? What were the episodes that happened, and how did you face it?
Okay, before I just go on to the operation proper, I would just like to inform that State of Siege this temple attack is a movie. So there has to be element of entertainment and some masala into it. So the whole movie is not entirely on me as such, but the operation at the last one and a half hours of movie, 1 hour of a movie is of course has got some semblance with my action in the operation Akshardham. So having said that, I would just like to tell you when on 24th September, I had just come back from my games parade after playing games, and I was sitting at home having a tea with my wife. My radio set and everything started sounding, and I believe there was something coming up. So I picked up the radio set. I got the message that something has happened, that hostage crisis has happened in Akshardham. And I told my wife to just switch on the TV, because if something is happening and NSG is called for, then it has to be of some national level. She switched on the TV, and I just saw on the screen 3 Gujarat police martyred, and 40-50 people got killed by terrorists. That time they were showing 3 terrorists in the Akshardham Temple. And however, then after seeing this, I understood everything, and by then, my gypsy came. I just got into the gypsy, and we left for Palam Airport, and we left for Gandhinagar. After alighting at Ahmedabad, we were brought to Gandhinagar by police vehicles, on police vehicles. We came to Akshardham, and then I just went for a briefing with IG police there, Gujarat IG police. He handed over the operational responsibility and briefed me about the operation till now. So I asked him, when did you last see the terrorist? They said, just 15 minutes back they just fired from a structure, from the building, from the temple, and after that we didn't see them. However, but after I realized there were only 2 terrorists who had done this mayhem there at Akshardham. I took over, but firstly, let me tell you, when I went to the temple, I was aghast to see a huge temple. It was spread over 26 acres, because I couldn't actually appreciate properly on television. But when I saw the temple on ground, it was a huge temple. And when we were flying to Ahmedabad, I briefed my people. The briefing was just that 90 people were taken hostages and 40 killed, and probably 2 to 3 terrorists. I just briefed them on board when we were airborne, and that was it, because otherwise more than that I didn't know. So when we came there, after the IG police briefing, I just got the hold of this thing and took over the responsibility, operational responsibility of Akshardham Temple operation. My challenge was to find out these guys, these 2 guys, and it was really difficult for them, because the temple was huge, and there were almost 101 rooms all around the Swaminarayan shrine. So the only thing I could do it is searching room by room. So we carried out, I just, as we organize ourselves, my hits were, I just sent in the hits from the left flank and the right flank, and started searching room by room, carrying out speculative fire in each room, and then uh, checking back their presence there. It was that if then firing, if I get a retaliatory fire, that means I can just identify them where they are and I can actually neutralize. But this is how I had to do that way. So it was really difficult. Anyway, on the right flank, my hit went inside, and then when they threw, there was a toilet there, a washroom there, where they threw the grenade inside and just fired. There was a retaliatory fire from the toilet. There was a retaliatory fire from the
hiding.
toilet, and yeah. So of course, then my hit moved in, firing. However, the terrorist escaped from the rear door, and got into the nursery. Though he couldn't have run away, he couldn't have escaped totally, because I had already laid the cordon around, cordon around the temple. So he was pinned down by my cordon, this thing, and I got a message कि साहब यहाँ पर आ गया है, and the time was around 2 o'clock in the night. Just sorry I didn't come back to the time. By the time we reached Ahmedabad, it was 10:30, 11, and by the time I started the operation, it was around 1 o'clock. That is 25th now.
So you got the message around 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, around 5, 6 o'clock. And by the time we reached and I was given briefing, and by the time the operation started, it was already 1 a.m., 25th September 2002. Coming back to that, I got the message on the radio set कि साहब हमने यहाँ पर दिख गया है और अंधेरा है, पेड़ के नीचे बैठा हुआ है, और उसके हम फ्लैश से हम पहचान सकते हैं यहाँ पर है. तो मतलब होल्ड ऑन, उसको पिन करके रखो और डोंट लेट इट गो. I came out from the temple and just went behind the wall. There was a wall around the temple. Behind the complete, it was surrounded by a wall, a 4-foot wall, and on which there were decorative lights with a globe spaced properly. So I took the cover behind I, along with my head, took the cover behind the wall, and I could see him. I was right exactly 90 degrees from him, and that was the shortest place. It must be around 20-25 feet, and that was the shortest distance where I could reach to him. Of course, taking cover behind the wall. I could identify him with the flash of AK-47, and there was a small pool of water, because it was a nursery. There was a pool of water, small pool of water, and I could see the ripples onto it because of his movement, and there was this fine light of temple light falling, and that I could identify him. I could locate him, his action, but of course only with the flash. That was the scenario there at that juncture. And he was firing on us, and my cordon guys, they were firing at them. Then I just told them to hold on the fire, and then I told my buddy was Surjan Singh Bhandari. He was a young boy from Gadwal, and very energetic and josh wala banda with me, a buddy with me. I told Surjan, तेरे को दिख रहा है? तो he said कि हाँ सर दिख रहा है, वो फ्लैश लाइट्स है. तो अभी हम ऐसे करेंगे, अपने ड्रिल के हिसाब से हम जाएंगे, फायर एंड मूव करते हुए जाएंगे. मैं पहले दीवार कूदूंगा, आप फायर करते रहना. बाय द टाइम मैं जब तक कूद रहा हूँ, आप फायर करते रहना, उसके मुझे कवरिंग फायर देना, और मैं उस तरफ कूदने के बाद मैं फायरिंग करूँगा और तो आप कूदना. और मेरे स्टैंड बाय गो के बोलने पर हम लोग ये कार्रवाई शुरू करेंगे. दैट इज़ हाउ आई ब्रीफ्ड हिम. बोला हो गया, कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं? नो प्रॉब्लम. आई जस्ट सेड, मैं बोला पहले विल थ्रो अ ग्रेनेड ब्लास्ट के साथ, बिकॉज दैट विद द ब्लास्ट वी गेट अ चांस टू जंप ओवर द वॉल. I threw the grenade. Yeah. I jumped over. I said, stand by, go through the grenade with the blast. I was about to jump over the wall, and he started firing on the terrorist, on the first terrorist. I just saw Surjan Singh falling down, thud. I just saw him going down and his eyes rolled up. And I just stopped. Luckily I didn't jump over. I just stopped there and I saw him. He fell down. I just gave him CPR, mouth-to-mouth respiration to him. He revived.
So was he hit? Was he hit?
I will just tell you. He was hit. I think he was hit in the brainstem. I will tell you that he was. The splinter had hit him in the brainstem of Surjan Singh Bhandari. That caused him that he fell down because of that. I gave him CPR. He took a big breath. Immediately I called for the stretcher bearers and to take him for I planned for his evacuation. When I was blowing his mouth, I was giving him respiration, I saw blood falling on his face. I didn't know from where. अभी तक तो था नहीं मुंह के ऊपर blood. How this blood came on his face? I just checked up, and then I checked when I was blowing. I was also hit, and when I was blowing that, because of that force, that blood has spurted on his face. So, okay, now here I got him evacuated from the place, but then I just judged myself. I was hit on the neck, but I didn't realize the severity of my wound. But then I was taken to the nearby MI room. There were many medical support was there. I was taken there, and they just administered some stitches there, and they gave me some painkillers and told me to take rest. But at this juncture, how could I take the rest when the operation is on? When I have almost lost my boy, and the terrorist is still there sitting, and it was no time for me to take rest. So I had to move back. I just escaped from them. I came back to the place, and by then I got another buddy with me, Durga Prasad Timri. So he joined me as my buddy, and that was the time the खून खोल रहा था, and that adrenaline was pumping in. अब तो इसको मारना ही है, किसी हालत में इसको छोड़ना नहीं है, इसको छोड़ना ही नहीं है. And I told Durga, वही कहानी वैसे ही करना है, वही ड्रिल करनी है, मैं कूद रहा हूँ और तूने फायर करना है. बोला ठीक है साहब. And we were all out. I jumped over the wall. He started firing on him. Then he jumped, I gave covering fire, and we just started closing him in with firing and got this thing. But there was no retaliatory from his side. So when we saw him, he was all chalni, all bloody. Chalni on his...
He was done. It was done.
He was done there, and he was done, sorry. He was riddled with bullets there. But of course, I don't know whether because of this firing or in the initial firing with the Surjan Singh Bhandari, he would have killed. We must have got killed. So that is how...
this is one out of the two. One
was down. One of the two was down, but the second was at large. Not at large, but he was there only. He was there only,
hiding,
but it was not it was not difficult to locate him, because he had taken people hostages in an auditorium there, and that that auditorium was just adjacent to the toilet, that washroom where the initial operation started, the initial firefight started. So he was in the auditorium which he had taken the hostages there. Now the most difficult part to take him down there. Now, in normal circumstances, we would have blown off the door and got in, but it was...
Hostages.
We had to take care of hostages, and it's a mandate of energy that if once the energy is in, there should not be any civilian casualty whatsoever. So that mandate was there in my mind. I had to take care of that. I had to play with the psychology of with the human psychology. I just thought for a minute, and my snipers were already deployed, and they were keeping an eye on the door, and there was only single door. There was no other door because it was a closed, air-conditioned auditorium. And my clear instructions to my snipers were that अगर तुमको headshot, clear headshot मिलता है तभी मारना है, नहीं तो नहीं, because again I didn't want to have any collateral damage, because I was sure the terrorist will be getting hostage if he comes out. So I had given my instructions that he should be on the clear, if he should take him down only when he gets a clear headshot, otherwise leave it, I will take care of it. I told my guys to keep their guns silent and just to keep a watch on the door. By then, self and my buddy Durga, we climbed over the temple. We harnessed ourselves with the abseiling equipment, and abseiling equipment is the equipment which you come down with it has got a controlled descent, and we can just descend slowly with the control, and it can be a hands-free. Once we leave it, you can be hand-free. So we harnessed ourselves with the abseiling equipment and started roping down and came over the over the door, and on the corridor there was upper corridor, and we just came over it, and the distance between the edge of the corridor and the door must be around say 10 to 12, 10 to 15 feet, and you can just imagine how wide will be the corridor.
Very close.
We were hanging over the roof, over the projection, and we were just waiting for it. And that was the time where we had to wait. And we didn't know how long we have to wait. And that was the only way I could have taken him down. And rightly so, my plan played well. After almost hanging for 20-25 minutes on that thing, he came out, the terrorist came out with a hostage, with I think old man. He came with the old man out. My sniper just spoke to me on my radio set कि साहब वो आ गया है और आपके ही लाइन में है, and he aligned my weapon up there only. He aligned my weapon कि साहब इधर ही उतरना है, आपके सामने होगा और आपने बस यही इसी जगह पे उतरना है. Okay, so I just heard him, and I told Durga, okay, stand by, go, and we will come down. Just before that, when we were hanging on there for 20 odd minutes, I told him कि दुर्गा जो पहले फायर करेगा वही जिएगा. और I was in utter disadvantage because he had the advantage, all advantage, I can say 95% advantage to him, and 5%, that 5% is again God only can give me that 5%, because for him there was for him there was no aiming, or there was no disadvantage. He had to just fire his weapon on the burst fire. But I had the challenge that I have to take on with a single shot,
without
self and my buddy. Yes, without having any collateral damage and without having accidentally killing the hostage. So I told my Durga Prasad also, you to keep the weapon on the single shot. I kept my weapon on the single shot. बोला कि एक ही गोली पे मरना चाहिए, बाकी कोई नहीं होगा. अब मैं पहले फायर करूँगा, अगर मेरे if there is a malfunction in my weapon, तूने फायर करना है, क्योंकि 1-2 सेकंड से ज़्यादा हमारे पास वक्त नहीं है. So that was my instruction to him कि पहले जो फायर करेगा वही जिएगा. That was my this thing. And as I was about to say stand by, go, and we were about to come down, sniper ने मेरे को कॉल किया, साहब वो अंदर चला गया.
अरे
Oh God, gosh, it was वो अंदर चला गया. Now I didn't know what to do. What to do means again I have to wait for another, I don't know for how long, and that was the
so
time.
you're still hanging hanging on
We
top of the
were
door.
just hanging, and it was all paining at my.
And your cut was oozing.
Waist, cuts of vessels, and it was paining. But however, I didn't know when will my death, probable death, will come. Whether in 5 seconds or next 10 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, I don't know. कब आने वाला है this probable death, कब आएगा, मतलब it was that. I told you it was 95 and 5. 95 to him and
Yes.
5 for him. So 5 is that too because of God and my weapon, if it works well and if my shot is accurate, only then that 5 will stay. So
Work
that
in
was
your
the
favor.
situation. And that was the time I was hanging there, and I was just thinking about my family. My wife was pregnant, 3 months pregnant then. I had a 1.5-year daughter. And I was thinking कि अगर कुछ हो गया कुछ कि what will happen to them? Who will take care of them? And all these things were coming in mind. And I have got no qualms in saying that मुझे डर लग रहा था. But डर के आगे जीत है, and that is what the training has taught me. And as a commander and as a commander of troops, I had to show a brave face and a smiling face. And I asked my buddy, और दुर्गा तैयार है, सब कुछ, कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है ना, डर तो नहीं लग रहा है? नहीं साहब, आप मेरे साथ हो तो किस बात का डर? So that actually gave me tears in my eyes. How much faith my troops have got in their commander. Now that gave me another that confidence in me. कि साला कुछ भी हो जाए, this 5% I will convert it to 15-20% at least, and I will see that nothing happens to us and that bastard goes for 6, and I want to take that.
Yes.
It so happened again, after almost half an hour we were hanging there and talking, and I was just talking to him leisurely and just keeping him cool, and अंदर डर भी लग रहा था मेरे को, आखिर आदमी हूँ, इंसान हूँ, so वो डर था.
Very
But
true.
I
Very
have to
true.
keep that faith, I have to keep that brave face and think. That is what the commander does. I got the message from sniper कि सब वो आ गया है. ये बार एक लेडी
फिर से आ रहा
और एक औरत को लेके आया है. हाँ, लेडी आया, फिर से आया है, वही पोजीशन है आपकी, वैसी उतरी है, एंड आपने कुछ नहीं करना है. जस्ट एडजस्टेड माई वेपन. I said stand by, go. We got down and had a headshot between the eyes, and he was down there.
Wow. Wow.
I tell you, still when I'm speaking right now, my legs are trembling because I am living that day now, and while I'm speaking to you, I got down. And just see, किस्मत साथ देती है ना तो ज़बरदस्त देती है. वो 5% को मैंने 100% कर दिया था.
क्या बात
And
सर.
I got down. There were two things. Firstly, I cannot prematurely leave the clutch, okay, leave the descender, because if I leave it prematurely with the excitement, with the exuberance, then I would have hanging there like a duck,
be hanging.
and he would have taken me up,
Taken a
hanging like
shot.
that duck, and then I would have rotated also because of the rope, and I would be a clear sitting duck. He would have shot me. But I had to ensure that I come down, place my feet down, with the same aim, with a minor adjustment, and take down him between his eyes, and that is how he came down. When he was down, I saw the lady also falling.
Oh.
That I didn't know, but then we checked it. She had gone down because of the shock.
Ah.
But when I got him, my buddy Durga Prasad, and I started crying, by the way. It's because of everything came out. Everything came out. All the bubble came out. And Durga Prasad jumped over me, hugged me, and fell down with me. Maar diya saaf, kar diya saaf, kar diya saaf. And believe me, बड़ा सही निशाना लगा था. बड़ा सही निशाना लगा था, and because of that nishana I am sitting here in front of you and speaking to narrating you.
No. You are indeed a hero. You're the army hero for all of us.
No. That is what I am saying. It is that I just don't want to take the credit ke hero. It was I was the commander, but I was fortunate to lead the team. In fact, I would say Indian Army officers have such a lovely and brave officers. Had anyone been there in place of me, he would have done a better job than me. I'm sure he would have done better job than me. And it was the only thing is that I was fortunate, I was lucky to get this opportunity and do something like this. That is why I say this operation was...
it's luck and also your humility. I think, you're a very palpable boy next door. And when you talk also, there is so much of simplicity. And you told a story so beautifully, and I think all the audience who's listening to you, rongde khade ho jate, sir, goosebumps hote hain, because something like this, hanging like so many minutes, it's not instant. Now, you have seen terrorism very, very closely. I want to ask you a question. You mentioned mind, involvement of the mind. See, as children, we are taught to be soft. Arey, don't do this, galti mat karna, you must be good, you shouldn't hurt anybody. But when you join the academy, you're taught to be cruel, combat. You are taught to punish. How did that change happen for a boy like you, sir? I can just imagine. You must have been a very soft, sweet, normal boy, suddenly becoming that, combat person. How does the mind, it's a gymnasium, the mind is like a gymnasium. How does that mental change happen from a soft child to that warrior?
This is what our Indian Military Academy teaches you. When you come to the academy, you are a young boy next door, and you come with all dreams, or college se aaye hote hain, and das मस्ती खोर मस्ती वस्ती करके आते हैं, बट IMA में आने के बाद they ragado you in such a way, they keep you, they make you physically fit and mentally robust. But let me tell you, all army officers, or in fact all army men, army people, including all jawans, they are very soft from their heart. बंदे दिल से सोचते हैं, बंदे दिल से सोचते हैं, दिमाग से काम करते हैं. तो ये है. और ऑफिसर्स दिमाग से सोचते, दिल से सोचते हैं, एक्शन दिमाग से करते हैं, बिकॉज दे हैव टू डू दैट वे. सो अंदर से वो सॉफ्ट होते हैं. लेकिन व्हेन बैड मैन कम अहेड, then there has to be appropriate action to be vetted on them. फिर जाके तब cruelty आती है. It's not a cruelty. It is not the cruelty as such, but we want them to take down because he is a bad man. Because he is a bad man for the society, for the nation. So ये अपने आप तुम्हारी ट्रेनिंग तुमको ऐसे बना देती है. And we have to have iron fist in the velvet glove. We have to do that way. So,
sir, your episode, how did it transform your opinion on anti-terrorist activities? In Pakistan, now what is happening with Operation Sindoor? Everybody is talking about it. 120 terrorist bodies have been identified worldwide. There might be more, of which 79 are cradled in Pakistan, which means It's a rogue state. It is a bad state for tourism. It's the hub, I mean, for terrorism. In your view, sir, how does the landscape of terrorism in India, how has it evolved? See, Pakistan has been one big pocket of terrorism. And you'll have your opinion on Operation Sindoor, which I'll ask you maybe in another episode. But let's take your experience at Akshardham. And what do you know about, what can you tell us about terrorism? Because there's so much to learn. It's a very big chapter of the planet Earth today, sir.
I will talk on the Jammu and Kashmir terrorism first. Kashmiris, they say about for the Kashmir, I just say, let me recollect. They say, Gar Firdaus, Bar Ruwe. Gar Firdaus Bar Ruwe, Zami Ast, Ami Astu, Ami Astu, Ami Ast.
Yes.
Matlab, if there is a heaven on earth, it is here, here, here. कोई स्वर्ग है इस धरती पे तो यहाँ है, यहाँ है, यहाँ है. Having said that, Kashmir is actually a heaven on earth. Such a beautiful place. But this heaven, this beautiful place, has always been tortured since 1947, when we had partition. Pakistanis always thought that Kashmir is theirs because of the population there, because of their community, because of their language, this thing there. But Maharaja Hari Singh, because he has signed the instrument of annexation with Indian Army, with the Indian government, in 1947, when the first war between independent India and Pakistan took place in October 1947, where Pakistanis has sent their tribesmen, Qawwalis, and attacked the places in Kashmir, and they wanted Kashmir to get back. And that time, once Maharaja Hari Singh signed the instrument of annexation, Indian Army flew, and there was how the Battle of Budgam took place. And when this Pakistani tribesmen, they had come from Pashto, all those Pashto guys, they had come there. And our Indian Army, they repelled them at Budgam. There is an airfield there. And that is where our Major Somnath Sharma of Fort Kumaon, he was awarded Paramvir Chakra. And because of him, today, Kashmir is with us.
Yes.
अगर उन्होंने वो एयरफील्ड ले लिया होता तो कश्मीर हमारे हाथ से निकल जाना था. And we thwarted their attacks and threw them out. फिर 1965, again war took place. Again for Kashmir. Our brave Indian Army, Air Force, we had them nice and proper. And there was ceasefire line which was again marked, and after UN intervention we had to declare ceasefire, and then there was a ceasefire line there. After that, after 65 war, Pakistan realized that it is very difficult to win India with conventional war. Then the President Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he gave the doctrine that he declared in UN security speech that I wage a war against India for 1,000 years. It will be a 1,000 years war. And which later was amplified by General Zia-ul Haq in 1988, that will bleed India with 1,000 cuts. That means they knew they cannot win a conventional war with India. So they started using, they started using non-state actors or terrorism as an instrument against us. In fact, he launched an Operation Topak, in which first to give a covert support to the separatists and militant groups there. Second, to carry out the terrorist attacks on civilians, on innocent people, on the cities, and tie our Indian army there. Because they know that they cannot win a conventional war, they started doing this. This is how in 1989, on 18th September, probably I will might go wrong, but 18th September 1989, there was a first attack on civilian, terrorist attack. And tab se the terrorism had started in Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Firstly, it was only...
Go on.
Yeah. Till 2000, it was just the North Kashmir, then Central Kashmir, then and after 2005, after 2008-9, it came down to Southern Kashmir. Until date, the whole J&K state, we had terrorist attacks. We had seen many terrorist attacks in the hinterland, and it was just didn't restrict or was not limited to J&K state. These infiltrators, they started coming to infiltrate through the borders of LOC, because IB is very difficult to cross. I will come down to that. But LOC is a line of control. It is, we call it, now I will come back to that, LOC, line of control, that during the Shimla Agreement in 1972, when Mrs. Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister, that time during the Shimla Agreement, the ceasefire line, which was after the 71 war, we came back on the ceasefire line, and that ceasefire line was converted into line of control, LOC, in Shimla Agreement.
LOC.
So there was because the terrain is such, it provides good cover, good folds in the mountains, good folds in the ground, from where the terrorists can infiltrate. So from there they used to infiltrate, and that's how we had to pump in more army inside the Jammu and Kashmir. However, these guys, they used to slip from the J&K and had come down to the major cities, where you have seen many terrorist attacks in the major cities like Hyderabad, like Mumbai, like Patna, like Surat, like go down to Bangalore, any major cities, you will see all the terrorist attacks happening, which always led back to Pakistan.
Yes.
Their handlers were in Pakistan, supported by ISI. Now, this is how the terrorism started, and J&K terrorism started in India. Yeah.
So, but see, we have seen many cases of terrorism over the last few years, right, from 1947. And many army officers have lost their lives, and battalions have, ceased to exist because of terrorism. I mean, it's such a shame. You die in a war, or you die in a battlefield, is different. To die to terrorist attack is such a waste of so much of resource. What do you see? How do you see technology? Now, see, technology is becoming a very big player in the future to counter terrorism in India. See, now things are now hotting up. We are using many advanced techniques. Technology is coming to our aid. So, the Pahalgam case versus Uri, maybe you can use the Uri versus Pahalgam as a case to understand, for us to understand this. What is the case actually, the terrorism, the way they have acted differently or in the similar pattern? What is your opinion on the Uri attack as well as the Pahalgam attack?
Ever since the terrorism, I can just tell you from 1989 when the actually terrorism started. When Indian Army started operating against the infiltrators, against the terrorists, it was basically the human int, which we used to rely upon. With the interceptors in a sense, radio set interceptors. We could catch their signals, we could find their routes, we could decipher there in which they used to speak in coded language and mixed language. Like कबूतर यहाँ से उड़ गए हैं, वहाँ पे कौवे बैठे हैं and बंदर बैठे हैं and all that thing. We could decipher that and we could home on to that, of course. But that was quite a very simple method to acquire intelligence. But as we grew, technology grew, and we had many good interceptors, good this thing. We started having the satellites, and we started having. Now we have got drones. We have got many such equipments where we can easily find them out. We have got the pictures of the terrorist camps. We have got now. So we can clearly identify and locate the terrorist camps now. Now, if you see, you must have heard of Uri. Uri is the operation where Uri terrorist attack was when 19 of our brave army men were killed in the wee hours of on 18th September. On 18th September, 2018 or 16. Anyway, I forgot. So and after that, when we carried out the surgical operation, we knew all the terrorist camp, and we had a great surgical operation there.
Strike.
Killing 200 and 250 guys. They are burning them down there with our RPOs and what all the equipment, without having even a single casualty on us, and we came back. But since from the Uri to Pahalgam, many technology development has taken place with regards to this thing. Now, presently, the Operation Sindoor, if you see, it was like a work from home. We didn't cross highway at all. We were at home and we were working. So it was like a work from home. We fired missiles from here. We got complete acquisition of intelligence through drones. We have got drones through AD covers, air defense covers. We got lot of intelligence from them, pinpointed the terrorist camps, and on the very first day, on 7th of May, we had 9 terrorist camps blown off.
Yes.
Blown off.
Without even entering there.
Without entering them. Using all type of missiles, all type of drones. We had BrahMos where we wanted to, and it was very judicially used and intelligently used. BrahMos were used for all the structures, concrete structures, reinforced structures, where we require a lot of power. BrahMos were used. At other camps, scalps were used, hammer was used. Hammer is another this thing, highly agile modular munition with extended range. So those were used. So sitting at home, we blew off 9 terrorist camps without having any civilian casualty. We had taken down only the terrorist camps. And that is what the technology we have got today. And it was a wonderful operation which India took.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Colonel, I can keep talking non-stop to you because you are a real life example of stories that come alive on the battlefield. And your battle, I mean, luckily or unluckily, has been with terrorists. So you understand them much better, their psychology and how to handle them in future. In the next episode, I would love to know more about, the Indus Water Treaty, because there's a lot of ambiguity on this, and also actual Operation Sindoor from your point of view. I mean, getting an army officer's point of view is very, very valuable. But since we are running out of time right now, I would like to end with one question to you. Now, it's almost 23 years since Akshardham's incident. When you close your eyes and remember that day, what do you think today? What is the first thought that comes to your mind?
So quite a tricky question. The first thing I could actually think now कि उस वक्त अगर if I had failed, it would have been I can't say black spot, but I cannot say that, but it would have been a disgrace on me, my energy, my training, by everything. The whole nation was looking towards me. People had so much of faith in the NSG. Had I really lost that, it would have been a great, big disgrace to me. And because people were looking at me, the nation was looking at me. But by God's grace, it was great, and I am happy today. मेरे को सिर्फ उससे ही जिटर्स आता है कि अगर ऐसा हो जाता तो मैं क्या मुंह दिखाता. But
I'm sure that
what the training is.
I think Damodar is clapping the loudest for you today, wherever he is. And this episode, sir, what would you like to say to Damodar today if he wasn't standing in front of you? आप क्या बताएंगे अपनी बड्डी से?
Damodar means you want to say Bhandari. Surjan
Bhandari
or Durga?
Bhandari.
Surjan Singh Bhandari.
What was his name? Surjan Singh Bhandari.
Surjan
yes.
Singh Bhandari. Yeah. But this guy, in fact, unfortunately, he is no more. He was there in hospital for 1.5 years. He succumbed to. He was in coma, but he was in coma for 1.5 years. And I used to feel कि मैंने उसको क्यों बचाया? He would have gone peacefully that time. But उस वक्त हम ऐसा नहीं सोचते. We always think that my body should revive. That's why all my efforts was to revive him. But later on, when he was in hospital and I could see, I don't know, he had become a vegetable, I'm telling you. But he was not married, but her parents, I could see them, their this thing. But मैं ये सोचता था कि नहीं होता तो he would have gone peacefully. So he won the Kirti Chakra for that, posthumously. Not posthumously, that time he was alive.
He was in a coma.
But,
yes,
he was
sir.
in coma.
Sir.
But then he succumbed after 1.5 years. Had he been there today, मैं उसको अडॉप्ट कर लेता.
Yes, sir.
मैं उसको अडॉप्ट कर लेता for life. मैं उसको संभालता मैं like my own child, my coach, because he was like a small kid. He was 23, 20, 24 years old. I would have actually adopted him.
So this episode is dedicated to Bhandari and his parents. Thank you so much for giving us a brave child. And I thank every Indian soldier who has taken it upon himself or herself to fight for the country. While we all sleep, हम जब सोते हैं चैन की नींद, आप जाते हैं गोली खाते हैं हमारे लिए. And Colonel Tushar, this episode will end here, but I'm sure that we have lots to talk in the next episode. The algorithm of YouTube doesn't support war stories somehow, I don't know. So those viewers who are watching now, kindly subscribe fast, because there are real life heroes like Colonel Tushar Joshi who will feature here, and these stories you don't get to hear from everybody. These are the actual people who create history for this country, Bharat. Mera Bharat Mahan. Jai Hind, and I thank you so much, Tushar, for giving me this one episode. Jai Hind and Vande Mataram.
One. Yeah.